This has been an extraordinary work. And again, I have to be careful not to be too darn proud to be affiliated with all you good people. Jeff asked me to tell you the story of the Holland Free Health Clinic, and it's really just a story of a little bit of grit and a lot of grace. Okay, so Faith Church, we have this parish nurse, Sue Lassett, and she invites a bunch of us to go to a conference, and it was a conference for the Free Health Clinics of Michigan. And honestly, we went to Kalamazoo for this thing, and I scratched my head wondering why I was there. Part of the conference was to go visit a church in the community, and we went there and we went into the basement of this church, and my jaw hit the floor. There was what looked like a hospital. There were examination stations and beds, and there were doctors, and best of all, there were people. Needy people being seen and cared for and healed. And that's when Sue and I looked at each other and said, we got to do this in Holland. And let me tell you right there, we had no clue what we had just said. No clue. And this is, if I was going to write a book about the clinic, it would be The Virtue of Ignorance. Because had we known all the meetings and all the conversations and all the feathers we would have to ruffle and all the money we'd have to raise and all the paperwork, we might never have done it. But what we saw in that basement of that church in Kalamazoo, we couldn't forget. And so we began chipping away at the boulder. It was just a little grit. But the real story is the grace. Now, I'm a preacher, so you're going to get a sermon. So hang on, buckle in. I am convinced at this stage of the journey that God had already decided that He was going to do something in Holland for the medically underserved. What mattered most was that He was going to make a move. And He was just looking for some willing folk. You see, I think the Holland Free Health Clinic is as much miracle as it is anything else. The Holland Free Health Clinic, in my mind, is an outpost, a beachhead of the kingdom of God, where grace and mercy just flow and emanate. I remember our first ever fundraising dinner. We didn't have this many friends. We were at Alpenrose, and we had a few tables, we had a nice speaker, but then one of our dear clients got up and spoke, and I have never forgotten what she said. She told this story. She was on disability, on a fixed income, and she said, after paying my rent and utilities, and after paying for my medication, I didn't have enough money to buy food each month. So I had to decide, was I going to eat or was I going to take my meds? And then I found the Holland Free Health Clinic. Back in those days, one of our main works were coming along clients and helping them access patient assistance programs, accessing money for medication. Pete, I called it holy drug work. She could fill out paperwork like nobody else. And she just filled out paperwork. And what this woman said to us took a few months, but she said, every penny of my medication was paid for. And then she said this, I'm going to choke up. I can't forget it. She goes, you people saved my life. Now it's grace to be able to see that being done. But you want to know what else is grace? To be a part of that. I mean, you are the ongoing story of that work. You are such important people. Your contributions, your volunteer hours can't be done without it. The story of the Holland Free Health Clinic is a story of grit and grace.